Hello, I am Lewis. Have you ever had feelings for someone but couldn't tell them? Please like and subscribe to listen to my story. That day, because I woke up late, I frantically ran down the hallway to get to class in time. And at the turn, I bumped into a boy. The books in our hands fell, and the two notebooks looked exactly the same. I picked up one, ran into the class, and did not forget to tell the boy behind. "I'm sorry." The teacher was already in the classroom. He eyed me, then looked up at the clock on the wall and sighed. "You're late again, Lewis." I scratched my head guiltily and wanted to get back to my seat quickly, but he pointed at the door. I bowed my head and took my notebook to the door to accept the punishment. I was so bored that I flipped through the notebook to pass the time. Only then did I realize that was not my notebook. On its cover was the line, "Timothy, Class 11B." The bell rang for recess. I took the notebook and ran to his class to return it. Having looked through the classroom window, I still did not find him. A boy who used to play soccer with me passed by and showed me where to find Timothy. I went to the music practice room, and as soon as I walked to the door, I heard the guitar music. Glancing through the glass window, I caught a moment that I would remember forever. He sat on the stage steps, with sunlight surrounding. Timothy closed his eyes. His fingers ran over the strings. Maybe he was enjoying that happy moment. I saw the corners of his mouth curl up slightly. The sound of the guitar ended, and my applause rang out. Timothy was startled and quickly hid the guitar behind his back. I pushed the door open, stepped inside, and then sat down next to him. "Great music! Why are you so scared?" Realizing that the person who entered was me, Timothy breathed a sigh of relief. He hugged the guitar back to his lap. "Just a habit at home. What are you looking for me for?" "Here's your notebook. We just have..." He looked at the notebook in my hand and froze for a moment. Then he hit his forehead with his knuckles. His notebook was still in the classroom. He was about to go back to get it, but I stopped him. "You can get it another time." Suddenly, my stomach growled. That morning, I went to school too hastily, and I still had not had time to eat. I rubbed my empty stomach and asked him, "Are you hungry? Let's go to lunch." We sat opposite each other at the dining table. Seeing Timothy separate the yolk from the egg dish, I asked curiously, "Don't you like eating yolks? Can I have it?" "Go ahead. Can I have your whites?" We exchanged food and laughed at each other. So I was not the only one who had such a taste for food. Since then, this had also become the habit of the two of us. As we ate, we talked, and it turned out that Timothy and I both grew up in the same city. Our homes were quite close to each other. We had been in the same school since we were little. We'd just never been in the same class. The two of us had a lot in common. From music tastes to a liking for movies, the days after that, I often looked for him. I felt that he was very special. His personality was not like the boys who often played with me. Summer vacation came, and we contacted each other more often. Once, I went to my house to ask Timothy to go to the cinema. And just as I walked to the door, I saw his father angrily dragging him out of the house with the guitar in his hand. He smashed it, beating and scolding. "Stop wasting your time on this bullshit. Your job is to focus on your studies. How can you become a lawyer if you're holding this thing all day?" "But I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be..." Before he could finish his sentence, Timothy's father slapped him. Seeing that he still did not intend to stop, I jumped to his defense with my body to support him. "Please, don't hit him." "Who are you? I teach my children. What does it have to do with you?" "Teaching doesn't have to be this way." My temper flared up. I was about to argue with him, but Timothy stopped me. He pulled me away by the hand. Don't argue with him. Let's go, Lewis. On the way to the cinema, Timothy told me that at home, the person he was most scared of was his father. Every time at home when Timothy touched his guitar, he would get angry and hit him. For that reason, when I accidentally discovered him singing in the practice room, he panicked. As someone with a rebellious personality, I felt it was unfair to my friend. So whenever he forbade him from doing anything, I would be the one to help him do it. When he did not allow him to play music at home, I asked him out to give him time to practice. When he did not like him hanging around with me all day, I helped him climb the wall to escape. When we were in 12th grade, we were placed in the same class. I did not remember how happy I was at that time, only knowing that our relationship became more and more close. Once, I borrowed a motorcycle. I rode it to pick up Timothy. As soon as he saw the vehicle, he loved it and then raised his hand to touch it. But when I asked him if he wanted to test ride, Timothy just laughed and shook his head, saying that he'd never ridden a motorcycle. I recognized the desire to try in Timothy's eyes and patted him on the shoulder to cheer him on. Don't be scared. I'll teach you. Nothing bad will happen. Come here. The two of us climbed onto the motorcycle. He was in the driver's seat, and I was right behind. The car rolled on the road and gathered speed. My arms stuck to his waist obliviously. As we entered a tunnel, I told him to try speeding up a bit. The car sped away in the straight tunnel. The whole tunnel echoed with the laughter of two teenagers. It was our most enjoyable outing. I found out that I had a crush on him in the middle of 12th grade. I was accidentally injured while playing soccer. Seeing that I had difficulty walking with a bandaged leg, Timothy took the initiative to come over to my house to help. He helped me sit on the sofa, and then he did everything from cleaning, cooking, etc., to even showering me. I hurt my leg, but my arm is fine. I can do it myself. Don't talk too much. Take off your clothes. You want to take a bath with me? Shut up! If you speak again, I'll break the other leg. Laughter came from the bathroom. Timothy helped me wash my hair, and the steam rose to form a thin mist to hide the shyness on our faces. After eating and drinking, I looked at the clock. It was not early anymore. He grabbed me by the collar, slapped me hard, and shoved me to the ground. I shivered and got up. His slap made me speechless with fear. Our dubious action made him extremely angry. He immediately kicked me out of the house, forbade me to never go near Timothy again. After that time, despite his father's prohibition, Timothy's interest in me became more and more obvious, and I kept avoiding it. When I was at a loss to know what to do, Timothy's cousin transferred to our school. Jessica was a beautiful girl with a charming smile. Not timid like Timothy. She loved my extravagant personality. In the most cowardly way, I chose to love Jessica to negate my growing affection for Timothy. Two-person outings then suddenly included Jessica. At one time, we had a date in a restaurant. Jessica and I sat on one side opposite Timothy. I purposefully showed my love to Jessica so that he would give up soon. I gave her one side of the earphones, and the two of us leaned our heads together to listen to music. I silently observed his attitude. Timothy looked at us with displeasure, and then spoke up. "Are you and Jessica getting to know each other?" I took Jessica's hand and answered him. That's right." Timothy looked at us with disgust, and Jessica shook his hand.
"Cousin, don't be like that. How about I introduce you to a girlfriend? The four of us can hang out together."
Tim flicked her hand away and then looked at me. "No need. Do you agree with her introducing you to a girlfriend?" "Yeah, isn't it good to find a girl by your side?" Why do I have to be with the girl? Tell me why I have to be with the girl. You know I like... Enough. Say no more, Timothy. Don't make me feel awkward. I quickly interrupted him. I was afraid that when the word was said, my friendship with him would never be the same again. Timothy angrily shouted at me. Why did you do this to me? Tell me why. Timothy's eyes were red. I looked down, and I could not answer that question, and he walked away. And since then, the two of us had not communicated with each other. I thought at that time he was just sulking, and that if we'd waited a while, maybe he would have been back like before. But when I tried to look for him, the neighbor said his family had moved for a while. He left without saying a word to me. It had been 8 years since that argument happened. That day, when I was passing a musical instrument store, the door was slightly opened, and I heard a familiar tune. The music he used to play to me before. I lingered in front of the shop for a long time, as if I was recalling the lingering memories of Timothy. Suddenly, the door opened, and a man stepped out. Our eyes met, and I immediately recognized him. Timothy also recognized me, and we stood looking at each other for a long time. Long time no see. How are you lately? I'm fine. We exchanged a few words, talking about the time we were apart. I'm sorry about that year. Timothy interrupted, looked at me in the eyes, and smiled casually. Actually, that night at your house, I didn't sleep. I know what you did. I was shocked to hear those words, but he always knew that I had feelings for him. My feelings that have been buried for many years because of this one confession were eager to awaken. As I fidgeted, I felt my pocket and found a bulging square box, the ring I was about to propose to Jessica with. My head was taken out of the clouds. I suddenly remembered my current situation. All the years Timothy had been away, Jessica had always lived with me. That day, I had decided to buy that ring to propose to her. Timothy's hands were on my shoulders. He wanted me to look him in the eyes, and then he asked, "After all these years, have you finally been able to determine who your crush is? Can we be together?" The phone in my pocket suddenly rang, and I pushed his hands away to answer. On the other end of the line was Jessica's excited voice.
Honey, I have good news. Congratulations on becoming a dad. Hurry home. I'm ready for dinner.
Seeing Timothy's bright eyes waiting for an answer made my heart tighten. I sighed. I did not dare meet his eye while answering. It's been so long. I don't remember. See you later. I have business to attend to. Faced with my cowardice, Timothy was very disappointed. He pursed his lips tightly, sobbing as if he were about to burst into tears, and his trembling hands held my shoulders. How dare you do it but not admit it? I dare say who I like. Would you dare?